The world celebrates the arrival of the strong man, but few acknowledge the brutal forge where he is made. It is a place of profound solitude and relentless pressure. Here, the unformed self is systematically dismantled, piece by agonizing piece, to make way for something far more resilient. This is the cost of becoming. It is a currency paid in sleepless nights, in sacrifices that leave a hollow ache, and in the silent shedding of everything that once defined you. The man who arrives at the summit is not the man who began the climb. He is forged in the crucible of his own will, battered by the storms of his own doubt. The comfortable ignorance of youth, the easy platitudes of a world that craves softness, these are the first sacrifices. He must look at himself, truly look, and find the rot beneath the surface. This self-examination is not a gentle introspection. It is a surgical dissection of ego and delusion. The tools are few, and the pain is guaranteed. Consider the common man, adrift in the currents of convenience. He speaks of goals, but his actions betray a deep-seated fear of discomfort. He longs for mastery, but recoils from the necessary discipline. His potential remains a slumbering giant, untroubled by the call to awaken. This is not a critique, but an observation of a path not taken. A path that requires a willingness to pay the price. What is this price? It is the surrender of the easy path. It is the embrace of responsibility when avoidance is tempting. It is the decision to speak truth, even when silence is rewarded. It is the willingness to stand alone when companionship offers only lukewarm mediocrity. It is the silent acknowledgement that growth often necessitates separation from those who cling to the familiar. The transformation begins internally. The mind, that restless battlefield, must be disciplined. Thoughts that lead to weakness, to procrastination, to doubt. They are not to be indulged, but conquered. This requires a vigilance that never sleeps, a constant warring against the primal urge for ease. The Stoics understood this internal struggle. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This is not mere philosophy. It is the blueprint for survival. This internal discipline then extends outward. It means structuring your days with purpose, not by whim. It means engaging with challenges, not seeking to evade them. It means that when a man commits to a task, he sees it through to completion regardless of the obstacles. This commitment is a cornerstone of character, a silent promise kept to oneself. The world is littered with the specter of unfinished ambitions, of dreams abandoned at the first sign of difficulty. The cost is also paid in relationships. As a man rises, he leaves behind those who are unwilling or unable to ascend with him. This is not a conscious act of cruelty, but an inevitable consequence of divergence. The conversations that once bonded him now feel shallow. The habits that once were shared are now hindrances. He may find himself increasingly isolated, a lone figure on a higher plane. This solitude is not to be feared. It is a necessary crucible. It is in this quiet space that clarity emerges. The noise of the world recedes, and the inner voice, often drowned out, can finally be heard. It is here that the true purpose begins to crystallize, free from the expectations and judgments of others. A man must learn to be his own company, to find strength and validation within himself. Think of the soldier preparing for war. His training is brutal, his sacrifice is immense. He endures hardship, pain, and the constant threat of mortality. Yet he does it for a purpose greater than himself. He understands that true strength is not the absence of fear, but the mastery of it. He pays the price for the honor, the duty, the brotherhood. Similarly, the man striving for self-mastery pays a price for his own internal war. He battles his basest instincts, his deepest fears, his most comfortable illusions. He sheds the skin of the boy who craved validation and embraces the skin of the man who demands self-respect. This exchange is often painful, a shedding of the familiar for the unknown. What separates the man who achieves his potential from the one who merely dreams? It is the willingness to pay the price. It is the unwavering commitment to the path, even when it is arduous. It is the understanding that true fulfillment is not found in ease, but in the hard-won victories over oneself. This is the hidden cost. It is not measured in dollars, but in discipline. Not in applause, but in self-possession. Not in external validation, but in internal integrity. The man who pays this price becomes something rare. A man of substance, a man of purpose, a man who has earned his place in the world. He learns that true strength is not loud, but quiet. Not boastful, but demonstrated. Not fleeting, but enduring. The echoes of his efforts are not heard in the marketplace, but felt in the quiet resilience of his character. He becomes a monolith, unmoved by the shifting sands of popular opinion. He understands that the greatest battles are fought within the confines of his own mind. The temptations to relapse, to succumb to ease, to betray his own standards. These are constant adversaries. Each victory, no matter how small, reinforces the edifice of his character. Each surrender, no matter how minor, weakens it. The price is steep, yes. It demands more than most are willing to give. But the reward is also immeasurable. It is the profound satisfaction of knowing you have not shied away from your own potential. It is the quiet confidence that comes from knowing you can face any challenge because you have already faced yourself and emerged victorious. This is the ascension. It is a solitary journey, marked by deliberate action and unyielding resolve. The man who embraces this path understands that he is not merely living life. He is actively shaping it, forging himself into the man he was always meant to be, and in doing so, he discovers a strength that transcends ordinary existence.